Hello everybody, and today we are building an incredibly detailed farm using the brand new extra detailing tools and extra asset importer mods in Cities Skylines II. And this is seriously a game changer. Wait till you see what is coming up in this video. The amount of detail and customization we have for props and extra assets in the game completely transforms that kind of slightly cartoony look into something that can be absolutely realistic and gritty as well. I love the grit. I've been very kindly granted early access to this mod by the awesome mod maker Triton Supreme. Massive thank you to you. Insane skills being shown in the development of this mod, and also with credit to Sully, CityRat, Tigon, Ologdring, Dome DBS and BruceyBoy for creating these amazing decals that we're going to be using today, alongside Yenyang as well for also granting early access to the updated Anarchy mod. And before we get into the build, if you like what you see today, please drop a like and a comment onto the video to show support for the incredible work put in by these creators to make this game, frankly, a whole lot more of an enjoyable experience. So let's get stuck in, and as you can see, I have very swiftly built a small farmyard, so we're going to go ahead and transform this into a thing of dirty beauty. So the first thing I'm doing here is removing all of the surfaces from the assets, as we'll be adding in new ones in just a second. The Better Bulldozer mod now also has an update where you can remove sub-elements of buildings. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of these little business signs and other unwanted props from around these assets. So you can really now essentially remove any tiny little element, as small as aircon boxes on roofs, for example, from all of the assets, which is just like insanely cool. And it means as well that we can take the shells of the assets we want and convert them into exactly what we need for a specific build. So you can really start to actually take some of these assets and make them completely something else, which was really not possible actually before this update. And this also extends to fencing around assets, so if you like fusing buildings, as I do, this is all now possible because you can get rid of all of those kind of extra details and props that come in all of the assets, which, as nice as they are, I've kind of found a little bit frustrating up to this point in the gameplay style that I like to build in. So now I'm just laying down the base surface for our farmyard, and I decided to go for the oil texture here as I find it blends really well with the standard gravel road. We have got a whole lot more surfaces as well within this pack because thanks to the extra assets importer, you can now import your own textures and that kind of thing. We've got some of Sully's new riverbed surfaces you can see in the menu here too. And all of these extra asset packs as part of that are, again, packs that you'll need to download and you can choose from. So you can choose very specifically what extra decals you want in the game. So what you can see here is we have this brand new decals menu next to the surfaces here too. And this is where, via the extra assets importer mod, that you can find all of your new decals. So there's tons of different categories in here, and this will all depend on what assets you subscribe to. But we have things like beach decals with sea foam and sand patches from the absolutely incredible Sully, lettering from CityRat and Tigon, content creator posters, and yes, there is a special Solitude FewCandy poster in this pack. Thank you, CityRat. Absolutely amazing. I'm honoured to be in there with these other incredible creators. And a ton of brand posters as well from BruceyBoy. That's a seriously cool pack as well. We've also got parking decals, graffiti, sports fields, but most importantly for this particular build, stains, patches, cracks and riverbeds. Yes, my dirty decal dreams are coming true. So some of these decals have been made into additional surfaces too, so like the Sully's riverbed surface one that we are using here. And I'm going to use this all over the basic oil texture just to add a bit of grit to our farmyard. So it's really super handy because you can layer all of these surfaces to kind of create your own bespoke surfaces in the end, which is super cool. So putting this on top of the oil, it looks awesome. And then, of course, I'm going to come in and whack a whole load of decals over the entire yard. So we're going to stick a load of dirty stains and some of the riverbed decals as well, as I really like how they offer a kind of patchy, muddy, dirty kind of look, which suits how I want the farmyard to look. I also use one of the stain assets all over our gravel roads running throughout the farmland to add that kind of more realistic, used, far less clean element to it. If you're familiar with my content, you will know I absolutely love Stains. I cannot get enough of stains. Every surface must be covered in a stain unless it is a clean, very well maintained, modern part of the city. And here the base roads are just way too static and quite cartoony for my liking, so this gives us the opportunity to change it all up. And there are also snapping options built into extra detailing tools, so you can really quickly snap some of these decals to the sides of roads if you'd like, making this kind of process an absolute breeze, honestly. It's super, super easy to use and very, very well done indeed. So now let's come on to one of the best features in this mod, which is snapping to buildings. Yes, we can move decals and props up and down against a building edge. So you can see here me placing these leaky stains actually at the bottom of buildings, which I really like. It kind of gives it that worn, used effect, again, which is really realistic, particularly in dirty farmyards like this. But they don't go around and clean the roof of their shed very often. Like, a little bit of moss, a little bit of dirt and stainage will build up on top of these roofs and around the bottom of these buildings and that sort of thing, so that's what we can achieve here. The stains sit really nicely onto the surfaces as well, so like here where we've got a curved surface, you can see only part of the stain will kind of show up on the part which is connected to the building, which makes it really, really versatile to create the kind of look that you want on any shape of surface really in the end. So you can see me just absolutely plastering these buildings and these stain assets, and honestly, by the end, the effect of it is just so cool. It's a really super subtle thing, but to get a realistic farmyard like what I'm aiming for here, this is so needed. So again, you can see these stains, like I've used them at the bottom of the building, I've used them at the top, like it just works so well. And the fact that you've got so much freedom in how you position them, so you can kind of see me tweaking it a little bit on angles, different kind of heights off the ground, so we get a slightly different look to the same stain asset. It's so easy. It's so, so easy to do. And there are various other snapping options to help with this, so you can see there the snap to road option, the snap to building option, and also snap to kind of like horizontal height. So with things like trees, you do need to be aware of that, because trees can be a little bit more tricky to put in. As soon as the ground is even slightly bumpy, the tree will flow off right to the side. So you want to make sure that's on to keep your trees nice and straight off the ground, for example. But it also helps you to add control when you're adding in a lot of these decals around these different places. So you can see the stains on the red roof now. I love this. This is one of my favourite things in the whole build. Just being able to change this building up from super clean and kind of static, not very realistic, to make it feel like it's actually used and it actually fits into the build that we're trying to do. Like, stains, I'm pretty sure I've said it before on CS1, but stains really are possibly the best asset ever invented in any of these games. So massive, massive shout out again to Sully for these. Just awesome work. Absolutely awesome work. You can see again how it behaves on a curved surface here, so we can actually get rid of some of that harsh lines at the edge if we just position it correctly on here and make it look like just kind of stripes of dirt essentially down our building. Absolute wonders. Absolute wonders. And just a quick shout out to the graffiti assets as well. I love it. I couldn't resist putting a little dirt graffiti sign on our barn. Someone's come in and teased the farmer about how badly he has kept his yard, I'm thinking here. And we also have a yard graffiti asset as well, so although now I look at it, I'm not actually sure it says yard, but I thought it said yard at first, so we're going for dirty yard over here at the back of our little farm building. I love these. So easy to use in the game now with all of these different snapping options available. And one other little feature I want to mention from within Anarchy is, obviously we've talked about the removing sub-elements. This extends to roads as well, so you can see me here deleting out the street signs. Yes! In CS1 we needed loads of mods combined to be able to do anything even remotely similar to this, and it wasn't as advanced. Like, this is really genuinely a huge advancement on anything that we had from a detailing perspective. Now coming on to the next feature of the extra detailing tools that I do want to talk about, which is net lanes. Oh yes, we now have network fences, which is probably the most exciting feature for me about this. So there's a whole host of fences available on this, lots of different types to choose from that you can now be drawn in and behave exactly the same way as roads, essentially, as any other network in the game. So easy now to get fences in. I think for me personally, I've been struggling a little bit with the line tool in CS2, particularly putting prop fences in, they go all over the place. This now conforms really nicely to the terrain. It's so quick and easy to get hedges, fences, a whole different variety of things like that into the game. The one little difficulty I did find with this though is that as some of the fence pieces have lots of different colour variations, as soon as you put in one row of fence, it can change on the next like diagonal or crossover that you put in for the fence. So you end up with these different bits of colours of fence. So sometimes I had to go in, delete a piece of fence and then re-put it in so that I could get all of the colours matching. So it'd be great if there's some way to select what colour variant we're having in future. But it's a tiny little niggle in the grand scheme of things and it's a niggle that already exists with those prop fences in the game anyway, so nothing to do with the mod. But yeah, love this ability. And in addition to the fences as well, there are also extras in here to be able to draw lines onto roads, so you can use those invisible road markings or the car park type assets where you can create your own custom car parks. And actually put your own lines in there now using networks. So straightforward, so easy. There's also things like tyre marks, so you can get the tyre mark lanes wherever you want to, those kind of markings. Like essentially we can create networks out of really anything now, which is pretty cool indeed. And you'll see when it comes to the little detailing time lapse, and I'll show this at the end as well in a bit, there are also edges, so edges to gravel paths, for example, which I actually put all the way over the gravel road, which just gets rid of that super sharp edge to the road, which honestly is another bugbear of mine within the game. So hugely helped in terms of the realism around the edges of roads and things like that as well, all as networks. So super handy indeed. Now let's come on to talk about some of the kind of transform and snapping functions here. So when we're placing in props like this bale stack that I'm doing here, there is an elevation option now where we can change it in 0.1 meter increments. So really finely tuned, and exactly the same way where we're raising up or lowering roads, you can change the interval of this to make it a bit quicker and easier. It means we can be so easy, quick and precise about stacking props or layering props in any way that we want. So incredibly handy. Like, I absolutely love this function. There's no longer a need to actually go into move it. In fact, I actually didn't use move it once during this entire build, which kind of just shows actually the power of this mod when you're placing props and decals is just so incredible that is not needed. Like, it's so easy to very finely tune and place props in now without kind of messing around going into another mod essentially when you're doing that. Love the ease of it. So you can see again me using this elevation stacking function with these bales here, and yes, I was really kind of particular about the colour of silage bale that I had for my farmyard here. I wanted the white bales, so that's what we were going to get, so I had to go through a load of other colour variations in order to get that, but we got there in the end. Now the other part of this is the transform function. So when you put in a prop, you can click on it and you get this little menu here. And via this menu, you can choose to rotate or reposition the prop however you want. And again, you can change the increments of the rotation or the position, so you can get really super fine placements. You can see how narrowly I'm moving the height here as well, and the position of it across. So you're able to kind of reposition a lot of the decals in particular and props, such as I am doing here, so precisely using this. Again, that move it just really isn't needed. And the fact that we've got this rotate function is just awesome. Absolutely love that. I never played with PO in Cities 1, so this is kind of a real game changer, just that one feature in itself for me. So I can finally put in bales at various different angles and have it look realistic. Crates could be fallen over, for example. There's just so many options when it comes to that part of the mod itself. So that's kind of the main features of the new mods that we have in a very short little snapshot of it. It's definitely not tutorial style, maybe we'll do something on that, but I wanted to kind of demonstrate the elements that you could do with this. So we're going to finish off this build with a very brief little time lapse to get a few extra nuggets and features in, and then I'll come back at the end and give you a little walk around of the final build. So here we are, here we have the finished farm, and oh my goodness, like I'm actually speechless. Just what an incredible mod update for Cities Skylines II. Titan Supreme, Sully, Yenyang, CityRat, and all of the rest of the testers and the team involved in this. Just thank you. My utmost gratitude for having early access to this and just for spending the time making this. It absolutely transforms the game. To be able to put decals and stains all over buildings like this, like hang down and put them in so precisely as well with the transform function. I look at these roofs, just the staining on these roofs. We can turn these very shiny, very kind of boring, clean looking buildings into actually realistic sort of workplaces like this. It's just absolutely mind blowing. Honestly, thank you so much. And anyone who's a detailer, I really strongly suggest you go and get this mod and have a play, because wow, so much functionality that was never possible in Cities 1. It really, from a decal and prop perspective, amazing. simply amazing. So yeah, let's just take a brief little look around. We've obviously got our farm entrance here. Being able to now, with the Better Bulldozer update, thank you Yenyang, be able to actually delete like some of these road signs and individual things from roads is just amazing. The net lanes, like doing the edge of the gravel path just around these roads, completely transforms it. Like if you look at the edge here, it's all sort of slightly blurred and kind of blends into the lane. Let's go and find an area where I haven't done it. Like over here, it's such a hard, sharp edge. So yeah, I haven't admittedly done it all around the farm. Maybe I'll come in at some point when I've got the patience and do that. But I wanted to get this video to you so you can see what a difference that makes. Super sharp, kind of unrealistic, to much more sort of blended in. And oh yes, just so good. Having network hedges and network fences. Oh yes, thank you. The transform function on props is just simply amazing as well. Being able to so easily rotate them and place them so precisely. Really so good. Like stacks like this is super easy because you can just adjust the height really easily as you're putting them in. Nice little straw bale stack, which I know is super unrealistic. It would need to be undercover, but there we go. It's out there. They're moving them in the sunny day to somewhere undercover inside the barn, let's say. But here we go, it's our main farmyard, and just absolutely covered it in decals because why not? Simply, why not? And then come on over to the cow shed as well. Just really simple use of decals here. Adds so much effect, and all of the textures, of course. Let's not forget the surfaces as well. Amazing. Muddy cow field over here. Put some little tractors in the fields. I actually really like how this fallen leaf texture looks from a bit further out. It definitely looks like a kind of crop of canola or seed rape or something like that. Like the bright yellow, love it. Oh, these riverbed rock decals as well. So yeah, I added in these little trenches to act as kind of water overflow from the fields as well to keep them drained, but they're dry because, yeah, I'm not playing with the water physics on River Delta, I will admit. Got another one over here as well. It just works so nicely. So nicely. Absolutely love these assets. Yeah, there's a tiny little farmyard over here that you won't have seen. Pretty basic, not too much to that. Just to give the effect in the background, and then also this one over here, we've just surfaced that out and used some little hedges randomly dotted around, and of course some more decals there. But I've just had so much fun. It's really like invigorating to do this and to be back in Cities 2 and actually detailing, actually enjoying it. And of course for me, if you do know my content, I'm absolutely obsessed with decals. I'm a massive detailing bum in any game. I love to spend hours and hours designing random things. So here we are. There's the farm, and here's a little showcase of extra detailing tools. So if you have enjoyed the video, likes, comments and shares are really greatly appreciated. And please drop a comment below just to express how amazing this is to Titan Supreme and the rest of the team. Unbelievable work. Absolutely unbelievable work. And of course the mod is out on May 10th, unsure when this video exactly will go out, probably on May 10th itself, but do go and check it out and download it. There will be a link as soon as it's available in the description of this video, so please go and show those creators some love for this just absolutely amazing addition to the game. Yes, it has made me incredibly happy, but that is all from me for now, so thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you again next time. Bye bye.